This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. A private contractor in Porac town lost 14 million pesos to thieves who turned out to be 4 policemen assigned in nearby Angeles City and another in Zambales, prompting calls by their colleagues to call for an investigation by the Department of the Interior and local government. Police Colonel Joselito Villarosa Jr., Angeles City Police Chief, confirmed the November 25th incident and told the Inquirer he relieved those involved last Tuesday, the 2nd of December. Interviewed at the sidelines of the 2025 Hanbi Cultural Festival in Clark Freeport on Wednesday night, Villarosa said they are under investigation. One of the policemen is a station commander with the rank of a major. 3 others, a corporal and 2 staff sergeants, are his intelligence operatives. Another policeman, a corporal, belonged to the Zambales Provincial Office. Villarosa did not say if he is considering filing criminal cases against the 5 men. Asked where the 14 million pesos could have been, he said no money was surrendered or given to him. During the follow-up operations, the police by chance apprehended one of the suspects. He was questioned but later released for unknown reasons, said their colleagues in an open letter to DILG Secretary Juanito Victor Amila. A copy of the Porac police blotter reported an alleged robbery with intimidation at 8 p.m. on November 25th in Barangay C. Cruz. 3 men in civilian clothes casually entered the house of the victim, identified as Maria Debbie Lumanlan Lacson. At gunpoint, they forced her, her companion, and the latter's 2 young children into the comfort room. The suspects left on motorcycles after 10 minutes. The victim found the drawer of a cabinet wide open, and the 14 million pesos cash owned by the project manager of a construction company was also missing. During backtracking, Porac police managed to produce a few CCTV recordings of the incident which clearly identified who and how many of them, but to no avail. No arrest and no cases were filed. We take responsibility as we failed to caution our own, but enough is enough. We already failed the people who are the very reason we exist, they said. 2 municipal councillors of Maguindanao del Sur province survived an ambush that killed their companion, police said. Lieutenant Colonel Joppy Ventura, spokesperson of Police Regional Office Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, said the ambush happened around 3:45 p.m. on Thursday in front of the barangay hall of Tuca village in Mamasapano town. Ventura identified the fatality as Samsudin Manib, 25, while those hurt were Sultan Sabarongis municipal councillors Montecito Malido and Abdulmanap Bayang. Ventura said the 3 were going home from Cotabato City on board a Toyota Innova, license plate NCA 3240, driven by Demolido when they were ambushed by still unidentified gunmen. Demolido and Bayang are now recuperating in a local hospital under heavy security while the remains of the lone fatality was turned over to his family. No one has claimed responsibility for the attack as police, backed by soldiers, continue their follow-up operation. The Land Transportation Office has ordered the dismissal of 2 of its employees and a security guard for allegedly asking for money to let several jeepney drivers and operators pass a test. In a video statement on Friday night, the LTO said the individuals are part of the Traffic Safety Division. Land Transportation Office Chief Assistant Secretary Marcus Villacanileo has ordered the dismissal of 2 employees and 1 security guard who were linked to bribery by some jeepney drivers and operators, the agency said. The LTO Intelligence and Investigation Division was immediately tasked to investigate the LTO personnel and guard allegedly involved to find out what cases will be filed against them, it added. According to the LTO, the jeepney drivers and operators had their vehicles impounded for various traffic violations and were taking a seminar as part of the process to settle their violations at the agency's central office in Quezon City. The LTO did not say when the alleged attempted bribery took place and how many jeepney drivers and operators were involved. Nonetheless, the LTO said the concerned drivers and operators met with Lacanileo in his office on Friday and positively identified the 2 Traffic Safety Division employees and 1 security guard involved. The National Police Commission on Saturday ordered the dismissal of a police officer for posting sexually suggestive and indecent content on social media. Police Staff Sergeant Alexis Carolo Sabata, who used the online handle Semipoji, uploaded videos between April and the 20th of June 25 showing acts described by Napolicum as degrading to women, including slapping a woman, forcing her to eat food, simulating sexual acts, and appearing in police uniform without authorization. Some clips also depicted children drinking milk while he consumed alcohol. Napolcom Vice Chair Rafael Kalinizan said in a statement that the videos were a clear insult to the dignity of women and ordered a motu proprio investigation. He warned other content creators to use your influence with prudence and be responsible when posting on social media. Sabater, however, defended his posts as personal expression and a source of supplemental income, insisting he had deleted the videos once concerns were raised. After reviewing the case, Napolcom found him guilty of conduct unbecoming of a police officer and ordered his dismissal, citing both the explicit nature of the content and his identification as a member of the Philippine National Police. The commission noted that public perception, rather than claimed intent, is the controlling standard in evaluating such misconduct. The decision follows Napolcom's zero backlog policy, which mandates resolving new administrative cases within 60 days. A municipal councillor of Mirahatag town in Surigao del Sur province was stabbed to death on Saturday morning, police said. According to a police report, Mirahatag councillor Jerry Sales Campos, who is also a radio anchor, just alighted from his pickup vehicle in a gas station in Barangay Poblacion at past 7 am when the suspect, identified as Sandy Constantine Rivas, stabbed him multiple times, mainly on his abdomen. Rivas immediately fled from the scene, leaving behind his pair of slippers and Campos lying unconscious on the ground. Emergency responders from the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office rushed Campos to the Mirahatag District Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Rivas eventually fell into the hands of policemen following a hot pursuit operation. He is now detained at the Mirahatag police station while awaiting the filing of a murder charge. A former barangay secretary was shot dead inside his residence here on Sunday night, the 7th of December. Police identified the victim as Albert Felipe Bacabak Jr., 48, from Barangay Ayala. Investigation said the victim's family heard 3 gunshots but dismissed the sound as firecrackers. Moments later, they discovered Bacabak sprawled in front of his residence and saw a man wearing a black hooded jacket and mask fleeing on board a motorcycle. The victim, a member of the LGBTQ community, was taken to a hospital where he was declared dead from 4 bullet wounds, one of which was at the center of his forehead. Police are conducting follow-up investigation and tracking surveillance cameras. People with information on the case were urged to come forward and help the police. A former barangay captain in northern Iloilo province was caught with more than 5.2 million pesos worth of suspected shabu in a buy-bust operation past midnight Monday, the 8th of December. Police identified the suspect as Paolo, former barangay captain of Barangay Poblacion Market in Sara town. Recovered from the 40-year-old suspect when he was apprehended in Estancia town was more than 770 grams of shabu. The Iloilo Police Provincial Office Provincial Drug Enforcement Unit led by Police Major Daj de Lima caught Paolo after nearly 4 months of surveillance. Paolo was believed to be sourcing shabu from Metro Manila and was one of the major distributors in northern Iloilo towns. Iloilo Police Chief Police Colonel Bayani Razalan lauded the IPPOPDEU and the Estancia Municipal Police Station for arresting Paolo. This only proves that with the cooperation of cops and the public, our Ilonggo cops are winning against illegal drugs, Razalan said in a statement. Paolo is facing charges for violating Republic Act No. 9165 or the Comprehensive Drugs Act of 2002. The Sandigan has convicted former Philippine National Police's Firearms and Explosives Office Chief Brigadier General Raul D. Petrosanta and several others of graft charges in the defective licensing of more than 100 pieces of AK-47 rifles. From 2011 to 2013, the defectively licensed rifles were reportedly sold to members of the New People's Army. Petrosanta was found guilty beyond reasonable doubt of 14 counts of graft. He was sentenced to 6 to 10 years imprisonment for each graft conviction with perpetual disqualification from holding public office. There was no civil liability imposed since the prosecution failed to convincingly prove the amount of civil damages suffered by the government. Those who were also convicted were former Firearms and Licensing Division Chief Senior Superintendent Eduardo Piacierto, 11 counts, Assistant Division Chief Senior Superintendent Alan Perino, 10 counts, non-uniformed personnel Isidro V. Lozada of the Caraga Security Agency, 14 counts, Chief Superintendent Napoleon Aristiles, 3 counts, Senior Superintendent Regino Escatias, 3 counts, Nupsol Z. Bargan, 2 counts, Civil Service Security Group Chief Police Director Gil C. Meneses, 6 counts, Supervisory Office for Security and Investigation Agencies Chief Superintendent Thomas G. Rentoy III, 3 counts, Former FEO Inspection and Enforcement Section Chief Inspector Nelson L. Bautista 3 counts, Police Officer 1 Randy M. DeSesto 2 counts, and former I&D Assistant Chief Inspector Ricardo S. Zapata Jr. 1 count. The 202-page decision was written by Associate Justice Lord Villanueva with the concurrence of Associate Justices Sarah Jean T. Fernandez and Kevin Nas B. Vivero. Ombudsman prosecutors said that licenses were issued for over 100 AK-47 rifles from the 20th of August 11 to the 20th of April 13 in favor of 4 private companies: Carragher, Isla Security Agency, Clava Mineral Development Corporation, and JTC Mineral Mining Corporation. Despite having incomplete and falsified documents, the prosecutors also said that the rifles were reportedly sold to NPA members. In its decision, the Sandigan-Bayan said, "A careful review of the records reveals that the applications for firearm licenses submitted by JTC, Clava, Isla, and Carragher were tainted with deficient and anomalous documents. These irregularities underscore their substantial non-compliance with the mandatory legal and administrative requirements." It also said, to this court, "The sheer number of defective applications and the repeated approval thereof negates any assertion of oversight or mere inadvertence. The pattern of irregularity is too consistent and too extensive to be outrightly dismissed as a product of administrative lapse. It is, thus, inconceivable that these approving authorities, tasked with the solemn duty of regulating the issuance of licenses for high-powered firearms, could have failed to take notice of such deficiencies." An agent of the National Bureau of Investigation was arrested after allegedly brandishing and pointing his firearm at 5 men who were on their way to an eatery in Parañaque City. The Southern Police District identified the suspect as Brian, 31, who was apprehended in front of a grocery store in Barangay San Antonio, Parañaque City. The victims were identified as Michael, 29, a basketball referee; Brendy, 27, a store manager; John, 20, Junith, 29, a laundromat staff; and Joseph, 25, a rider, all residents of Barangay San Antonio. Police said the victims, while on their way to an eatery, was confronted by the suspect, and without warning, brandished his firearm and pointed it at them. Fearing for their lives, the victims immediately fled and sought help from Barangay San Antonio officials who responded promptly and assisted in the suspect's arrest. Recovered from Brian was a Glock 40 caliber pistol bearing serial number NBI 560 and license number NBI 303, along with 1 magazine and 13 rounds of ammunition. The suspect was turned over to the Parañaque City Police Investigation and Detection Management Section for the filing of appropriate charges. The Southern Police District is committed to protecting every community and upholding the law without favoritism. Regardless of one's position or status, justice will be served, ensuring the safety and security of all residents, SPD Director Brigadier General Randy Arceo said. The Department of Justice on Tuesday ordered the filing of multiple charges against 22 individuals, including billionaire Charlie Atngang, in connection with the missing Sabungerous. DOJ spokesperson Polo Martinez said the charges for 10 counts of kidnapping with homicide were filed in 3 different courts: the Regional Trial Court of Lipa City, RTC Santa Cruz, Laguna, and RTC San Pablo, Laguna. The resolution was released today. "We cannot provide the press a copy of the resolution yet, pending receipt and possible filing of motion for reconsideration by the respondents," Martinez said. In a press statement, the DOJ said a panel of prosecutors found prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction to indict the following respondents with 10 counts of kidnapping with homicide: Police Lieutenant Colonel Ryan J. Oripa, Rogelio Borican Jr., Rodello Anig, Ig, Mark Carlos Zabala, Ronquillo Anding, Police Senior Master Sergeant Joey Natanor Encarnacion, Police Executive Master Sergeant Aaron Cabillan, Police Master Sergeant Michael Jaketin Claveria, Police Senior Master Sergeant Mark Anthony Aguilo Manrique, Police Senior Master Sergeant Anderson Orozco Abari, Police Staff Sergeant Edmund Hernandez Munoz, Police Major Philip Almadilla, Police Lieutenant Henry Sasaluaya, Police Chief Master Sergeant Arturo de la Cruz, Police Senior Master Sergeant Favia Paladella Cruz, Police Senior Staff Sergeant Alfredo Uyandes, Police Corporal Angel Joseph Martin, Jezreel Lazat Mahilam, Edmund K. Underfall, Julius Tagalog Gumilan, Police Master Sergeant Renan Lagrosa Fulgencio. Indicted for kidnapping with serious illegal detention are Police Lieutenant Colonel Ryan J. Oripa, Police Master Sergeant Michael Jaketin Claveria, Rodello Anig, Ig, Rogelio Borican Jr., Police Staff Sergeant Alfredo Y. Andres, Police Major Philip Simborio Armadilla, Police Senior Master Sergeant Joey Encarnacion, Police Executive Master Sergeant Aaron Cabillan, John Does. As to the other respondents, the DOJ said the cases were dismissed without prejudice to the refiling of any complaint with the Department of Justice should future evidence arise linking them directly to the acts of unlawful detention. The Commission on Audit has flagged the Cebu provincial government for failing to distribute thousands of welfare goods, including bath soaps and canned beef, some of which have already expired or are nearing expiration. According to COA's 2024 annual audit report for Cebu Province, 9,720 bars of bath soap remained in the warehouse, even if the inventory report submitted by the motor pool warehouse inaccurately indicated they had been issued. The bath soaps had already expired on the 1st of January, 2025. The audit also found that at least 29,120 cans of beef loaf set to expire on November 19, 2025, had not been distributed. These findings prompted COA, which released its annual report on the 25th of June, 2025, to raise concerns about stock management and the timely distribution of essential goods. The failure to distribute these essential supplies before expiration deprives intended recipients of these items, the COA report noted. The audit spotted discrepancies between the inventory records and the subsidiary ledger maintained by the Provincial Accounting Office. Items no longer listed in the inventory reports, such as sardines, noodles, commercial rice, mineral water, and corned beef, were still recorded in the ledger. In contrast, some items were completely unaccounted for. A physical inspection conducted by the audit team at the DA compound warehouse on the 2nd of January, 2025, confirmed that many goods were missing or misreported. The reported balance of welfare goods for distribution amounting to 4,515,472 million is unreliable as it remained in the subsidiary ledgers despite being excluded from the inventory report. The report stated, COA cited lapses in documentation and accountability as key factors behind the discrepancies. In some cases, requisition and issue slips were prepared but not forwarded promptly to the Provincial Accounting Office for proper recording. The report also emphasized that a regular physical count of all inventory types was not conducted, contrary to Section 124 of COA Circular No. 2002-2003, which mandates semi-annual inventory counts. To address these deficiencies, COA recommended that the Cebu provincial government reconcile the subsidiary ledger with the inventory report, prepare the necessary adjusting entries, and explain the reasons why the goods expired. The audit also called for stricter adherence to regular physical counts and timely submission of the report of the physical count of inventories. The COA further urged the establishment of specialized inventory committees for each type of provincial inventory, including welfare goods, to ensure accountability and prevent delays in distribution. During the exit conference, the OIC provincial accountant said the welfare goods are currently recorded under the welfare inventory accounts and stored in the warehouse pending distribution. Adjustments will be made once the RIS are received by the accounting department. Despite these assurances, the audit team maintained its findings, stressing that timely distribution of welfare goods is necessary to avoid expiry and ensure that beneficiaries receive the assistance intended for them. A former soldier was arrested in an entrapment operation for purchasing gasoline using falsified purchase slips on Wednesday in Barangay 01 Poblacion, Catbalogan City, Samar Province. The suspect was identified as Ben, 38, and a resident of Barangay Santa Cruz, Jero Town, Leyte Province. Ben was caught refilling multiple plastic containers using gasoline slips bearing the falsified signatures of Police Lieutenant Colonel Norman Ayla, Chief of Police of Catbalogan City, and Police Lieutenant Colonel Daryl Chua, former Catbalogan Police Chief. Recovered from Ben were a firearm and ammunition, self-inking stamping pads under the name of the two officials, and 131 falsified gas slips. The badge and firearm in his possession belonged to his wife, who is assigned to the Catbalogan City Police Station. The suspect said that his wife had no knowledge of his illegal acts. The Commission on Audit has flagged the Social Security system for procuring 143,424 rolls of tissue paper worth 13.195 million pesos through a verbal agreement with a supplier. A transaction state auditors said was undertaken without sufficient planning. Based on its 2024 audit report on the SSS released this month, COA said the procurement exceeded the agency's 2-month supply requirement, while 116 046 roles were left in the supplier's custody without any written agreement due to the absence of clear policies on the purchase of supplies and equipment. The commission said SSS management of the tissue paper rolls does not align with the rules under Section 4 of Presidential Decree No. 1445 and Section 28 of the 2024 General Appropriations Act. This situation indicates procurement activities that were undertaken without sufficient planning and without consideration of existing warehouse capacity, thereby posing risks of loss, damage, or deterioration of the stored items, it added. Under PD No. 1445, COA said all government resources must be managed, expended, or utilized in accordance with law and regulations, and safeguarded against loss or wastage through illegal or improper disposition, with a view to ensuring efficiency, economy, and effectiveness in the operations of government. The Commission also pointed out that the arrangement with the supplier was based solely on a verbal agreement, without any supporting documentation or formal memorandum of understanding, which violates fiscal responsibility principles under PD 1445. Section 28 of the GAA, meanwhile, requires that inventories of supplies, materials, and spare parts shall not exceed the agency's 2-month requirement. In response, state auditors said they recommended that SSS strictly follow the 2-month inventory limit beginning the 2025 procurement cycle and exercise prudence in using government resources by ensuring proper procurement planning and conducting a full inventory. The COA likewise recommended that SSS institutionalize revised procurement planning guidelines by the 4th quarter of 2025 to ensure future purchases align with actual storage capacity and operational needs. A complaint for perjury has been filed against Senro Dante Di Marcolita before the Office of the Ombudsman on Friday, the 5th of December, on the 112 million pesos campaign funds he reportedly received but did not declare in his statement of contributions and expenditures. Danilo Arroyo of Contradia and members of Advocates of Public Interest Law represented by lawyers Alexander L. Lacson and Dino S. de Leon filed the complaint. The complaint was based on Marcolita's revelation that he received 112 million pesos campaign funds for the 12th of May, 2025 senatorial elections. However, he admitted that he did not disclose them in his SOCE because his donors asked him not to identify them. The complaint stated, by his own admission, respondent Marcolita publicly acknowledged receiving campaign contributions for the 12th of May, 2025 senatorial elections, but deliberately declared zero contributions in his sworn SOCE. These acts constitute perjury under Article 183 of the Revised Penal Code. The complainant said that Marcolita cannot feign ignorance of the law because of his profession, and stressed that his own public statements during the Net25 program provide direct and unequivocal evidence that the elements of perjury are present and that criminal proceedings are warranted. They also said, respondent was fully aware of the materiality of these disclosures. As a lawyer and longtime public official, he understood that contributions and donor identities are facts that must be truthfully stated under oath. His professional background foreclosed any claim of confusion or inadvertence. Senator Marcolita could not be contacted for comment as of posting time. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.